Good afternoon. I am Tony Dartino. I'm the founder of the USA Memory Championship. I'm an author of two books on what are the lessons that we are learning about the human mind and how we can enhance our mental fitness and our well-being as well as our physical. And I'm doing a series this week on sleep. As I was reading through the August 17th issue of Time magazine, there's a whole section within it on music. And so a little night music was what I'm just grabbing article after article. There's more, what is your brain doing while you sleep? What's happening with our sleep? So I decided to change my course for this week, since in our Maximum Memory Mastery online course, we have a whole section in there on brain health. And it talks about mental challenges and social interactions and nutrition and exercise, and sleep is one of those areas that we focus on, but not as well as what this Time magazine article has addressed. So I'm finding it fascinating, read it, and I wanted to reading it, and I obviously want to share it with my Live with Tony audience. If you're not able to get a copy of the issue, let me share with you a couple of things that they're uncovering. The first thing, obviously, is we talked yesterday about stress and its impact. And I always think about being in doctor's offices and listening to, like, what we call doctor's music, right? Very serene, very soft. Sometimes it's instrumental, sometimes it's just sound of what they're playing, maybe a light music, sometimes jazz, but something soft and serene. And you sit in a doctor's office, and what? It's there to calm you down. So I think in the old days, you'd sit in a doctor's office and listen to that music and start sleeping before somebody said, "Next, come on in, Mr. Dartino." And so they have now discovered that, especially now in this COVID era, the demand for sleep music, listening and sounds, has more than doubled. And so people are now, composers and musicians are now gravitating towards what more can we learn from the neuroscience of sleeping and music, and how music can be as effective as taking medications. And I know from some family members, right, trying to have a hard night's sleep and trying to get to bed and get a good night's rest is crucial, because it's during our sleep when we're moving information we've absorbed in the prior day from short-term to long-term memory, and therefore our ability to learn and sustain the comprehension of what we're learning is vital in terms of our sleep patterns. And as we get into what they call REM, and how you bring those rapid eye movements into going from short-term to long-term. So the features that they're discovering, right, and I'll talk to you about something else in a second here. There's a 2018 release called Sleep Better. Now, I guess you can get this on Amazon, but it's an 8-part suite. It's a suite of sounds that has waves. I go to the Cocoa Beach and sit there underneath the pier, and I just listen to the sounds of the waves. I close my eyes and take a nap in the middle of the sand on the beach. So lapping sounds, waves, chirping birds. What's there about nature bringing us back? So the nature of what waves, the sound of chirping birds can come along. Synchronized chords, so different chords of music, and the synchronization of those back to our circadian rhythms, and encourage us, and they are proven to show that we get into deep REM sleep. So circadian rhythms are the natural body's systems of waking up and going to sleep and going back to bed. And what they're doing is trying to sync the music that they're creating in this thing called Sleep Better to our rhythms of when it would be natural and normal for us to go to sleep and have a good night's rest. So who thinks about sleeping and its impact on memory, except if you've had a bad night's sleep and you have an important test? I mean, think of college students, right? High school students, cramming for exams, doing what they call all-nighters, drinking coffee and whatever it takes to stay awake, cramming and passing their exams, and then in a week forgetting about 80% of whatever it was that they studied for, which is not effective if you're in a position where you need long-term memory, because you're in a critical job of safety, you're in a critical job of dealing with healthcare, maybe you're a police officer and you got to follow certain rules of the law, maybe you're a lawyer and you've got to read paragraphs and pages of things, maybe you're someone who's got to follow the company policy. And so what I'm finding here is in getting with this soothing music, the demand for soothing music has more than doubled. And so I've been suggesting to my Live with Tony audience, in terms of your memory, in terms of dealing with your stress, you can be more proactive during this period of extreme stress and anxiety. And there are some things you can do to start taking control back and start putting some routines and some things into your life that keep you at least as level as you possibly can, recognizing all of the stresses and all of the things that are coming at us and dealing with them, because we wonderfully look for a daily news break which says we've got a vaccine or we've got something to help us clinically. We've got to start doing is, I think, be more assertive in taking control over what we can do during very difficult times. And so I always welcome people to send me an email at adottino@aol.com, which is a long time ago email, but it's how people easily get me. I look at that every day, and I look to respond to people where I can be of help to them. So in being helpful, here we go, music. So what are they discovering? Well, there's $20 million of research now that's been given to projects around music therapy and neuroscience. So here we go, neuroscience, they've studied with animals, right? We've got rats and studies and how that transfers to humans, and then humans that then go through different clinical trials. Well, now we're going to look at how does music impact the neuroscience of our own thinking capacity. And I'm sure everybody in my audience has got some favorite music and some tunes of music that just bring you to a state of calmness, as opposed to, not picking on this, but guitar music, which, to me, it gets you excited and emotionally charged, get on a dance floor and start moving it about. Versus now, we want to take some time because we need to get our sleep so we can get a good night's rest, improve our memories, which then what links to how we can be more innovative and creative in dealing with the challenges that we have in front of us. So I'm sitting with social distancing, 10 feet away. I'm a 10-foot guy, so 10 feet away from me is what I'm looking for. And I haven't to mention to her, I mean, when she's got a granddaughter's birthday party, 8-year-old, and she's being very creative and getting out there and doing what she wanted to do. And I'm saying, she's like, I go to bed by 9 o'clock and I sleep like a baby all the way until the early morning hours, and she's up at 5:30, but her mind is well rested and she's figuring out how she gets to do the things that she wants to do in a very creative way. So getting our sleep to our memory, right, and enhancing our memory and our ability to retain and then be up and bright and focused and being creative is huge. So here's what started. In the 90s, the musician, I have not heard of this musician. His name was Tom Middleton. In the 90s, Tom Middleton was sleep deprived after taking years on tour. So obviously he's a well-placed musician. I'm not sure why, I don't know who he is, but that's okay. But in the 90s, he was a musician that was sleep deprived after years of touring. He found studies that showed relaxing music can affect the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps the body relax before sleep. A trial in Taiwan, in a Taiwan hospital, found that older adults who listened to relaxing music 45 minutes before bedtime fell asleep faster, slept longer, and were less prone to waking up during the night. So now I got a 2020 Hyundai Sonata. I've shopped around for cars. I'm not one to go want to buy fancy cars. Give me a car that takes me where I need to go, and I'm happy with that. Reminds me of the founder of Walmart driving around in his pickup truck for 20 years. I'm not a Walmart founder. I'm not a billionaire, but my point is I'm not running out to go buy fancy cars. So I went and got a 2020 Sonata, and I got the top of the line on their new design, which is fabulous. So as I'm picking up the car and taking it away, they show me this radio, right? I get this Bose 12-speaker radio. I got great music in the car, except they put me onto stations that have water, the sounds of waves, the sounds of birds chirping, and I'm sitting in the car and they're playing it. I'm like, wait a minute, I love it. I'm only going to use it if I go to my garage and put it on before I go to bed at night and listen to it in the car. But I don't want to listen to that music while I'm driving. It's crazy. So I said to the salesperson that was there, I said, mate, great idea, but do you want people going to sleep and relaxing when they're driving to the point where they doze off? I said, yeah, I love it. I love the sounds, and they've got 4 different sounds of music that are very relaxing, but I will not play that music while I'm driving the car. Maybe 5 minutes before I get home, because then I can put the car in the garage and walk in the house relaxed. But these are the things we're learning about music and their impact. And can we use, the big question now is, can we use sound, music, different sounds of, to rewire the brain and bring us into a more mindful state, a more confident state of being focused and being able to do the things we need to do. So that's the second of my sleep Live with Tony's that I wanted to pick up. I've got another one I'm back on Saturday at 3. But if any of you can pick up this Time Magazine, August 17th, this is an excellent issue of Time, segments of sleep. And I'm going to pick up another segment for you on Saturday. I'm off tomorrow, back on Saturday, and again in the 3 o'clock hour. So have a good Friday, and we'll see you again on Saturday.